Good morning. I've been up since 3 a.m. getting things done. Taking the dog on a morning walk here, I figured why not do a quick live stream nice and early in the morning. Hey Toker, how you doing? Beautiful morning here. Berserker Bear, Fire Marshal Bear. How's it going, brother? I've been up since 3 a.m. crushing, so I was taking the dog on a walk here. About time you woke up, buddy. I figured I'd pop in and do a little live stream. I was on the walk and I was like, I don't know if I want to go live because the only thing I could think to talk about was math. And I was like, God, who wants to hear me talk about math? But you know what? Quick live stream, I figured we'd talk about it because a post I had done, newborn dad life. Well, it's also, I gotta say, waking up, because I was doing this even before the baby, but waking up at 2, 3 a.m., man, you feel, it's 6:33 right now, I've got a ton done. I feel great about the day, right? If you start your day crushing, then the rest of the day gets easier. And then with the children, if I do a lot of my work and things I have to do between, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m., that gives me more time to commit to my family and do the things I have to do. 3 a.m. Not everyone's a fire marshal. I know you guys go hard. You guys, I heard fire marshals don't even sleep. Buddy, please don't start barking at this school bus. He's gonna start barking. Come on, get away from the school bus. He's a great dog, but he is, I don't know if he's afraid of buses or what it is, but he don't like buses. But yeah, I figured I'd do a stream. The only thing I could think to talk about was math. So if you guys want to get out of here, now is the time. But I did a post the other day and it generated a lot of interest and I got a lot of inbox, people asking me about math curriculums and whatnot. But I really thought that it demonstrated the difference between public school and homeschooling. And to me, I know people always ask me about curriculums, right? Like, I know a good deal about curriculums, but I don't know every curriculum. But to me, homeschooling is more about the methodology you use. You could really pick any curriculum. Yeah, some are better than others, but like with math, the reason homeschool math is so much better than public school is the way in which you implement it. So you take an average public school student and what happens, and this happened to me when I was a child, right? You get them into a classroom and they're doing their math and the class is, we're doing addition, we're doing subtraction, and then later we'll go on to multiplication. And if you get through the addition part of the class and you fall behind, well, it doesn't matter because that class is moving forward to multiplication, whatever it might be. That's the simplest terms. So what happens is children fall behind and the class moves forward and then they don't have the proper foundation and then they think they suck at math and then it's boring and they hate math their whole life and they could never quite catch up because it just goes on to fractions and, whatever it might be. And so many children get left behind by the class. And then the inverse of that is the child who is doing math and masters it in a day, right? Oh, he's going to go nuts. Here's a school bus. All right, buddy, let's hear you. Yep. That actually wasn't so bad. The people are judging you. The people are judging, right? That child that understands the math right off the bat and it's like, all right, I get it. 2 + 2 is 4. Can we move on? Well, no, little Johnny, we can't move on. You have to wait for your classmates. And then little Johnny gets bored. And then math is the most boring thing in the world. And little Johnny hates math. So everyone hates math, whether you're good at it or not. Now, contrast that with what you can do with homeschooling. Because little Johnny, when he knows 2 and 2 is 4, like you did that lesson for one day, no, Johnny, we don't have to keep doing these addition problems for the next 2 months. 2 and 2 is 4. Great. We could either wait until, we're ready to do something else and start a few months from now, or if you want, we could go right forward to multiplication, and you don't have to wait for anyone. So you're always having the proper level of challenge. I know a big stigma is that homeschool kids are going to end up with zero social skills. I mean, listen, I went to public school and I'm socially retarded. No, I mean, listen, yeah, if you homeschool and you don't make socialization a priority, yeah, your children won't have socialization, but it doesn't take much to socialize your children, right? You get them involved in extracurricular activities. You hook up with other locals that are homeschooling, and you do meetups, and they have friends like anyone else. You take them on field trips, you do things, you get out in public, you get out in nature. It doesn't take much to socialize a human being. In fact, if you want to talk about stigma and socialization, I mean, right now, what are children in public school? Yeah, club sports and family activities. But even in many places, they could actually, in many places, it's different by state, but your children could actually play on the local high school teams, football team, whatever it might be. They have a right to be on those teams. So, I mean, they could even be involved with the local high school. In fact, some people homeschool, and there's, it's not how I would do it because I'm not letting my children anywhere near it. But some people even make agreements with the school where the child is in public school for 2 days a week and they homeschool, the rest of the week. So there's so many different ways you can do it. And I mean, that's the beauty of it. There's no one right way. But when we talk about socialization, I mean, children in public school, I mean, you want to talk about like a 6 or 7 year old over the last year since March of 2020. What have they learned in public school? What has their social life been like? If you give your friend a high five, grandma dies. What does that do to their psychology? Right? They basically have been taught that a human is a virus, right? Go in here, take you guys inside. I got to get back in because, well, my boy's probably waking up soon. Mom's going to need some help. I got to help get breakfast ready and whatnot. Thank you, Berserker Bear. Thank you. Here, buddy, I'll pick you up. Buddy has some bad legs. Come on, buddy boo. Oh, all right. Fire Marshal Bear will come. He'll carry you. He'll be your hero. Get over here. All right. So the one example I gave, I have to lower my voice now. The one example I gave, right, is that your child gets it, and I'm just going to let you go, buddy. Your child gets the math, 2 + 2 is 4, and he moves on. But the real, even greater benefit is you could go at your child's pace. So if your child's doing math, right? Locked myself out. I know where the key is. Okay. If your child's doing math and they fall behind, which so many children do, well, the beautiful thing is, whereas in public school, they'd say, oh, too bad, we're moving forward. Action? All right, I'm back. Where in public school, they would go forward without you. I'm about to sit out on the deck for a minute and talk to you guys. And in homeschool, your child can take as long as they need. As long as they need. Oh, you want to come out, Lucy girl? Check out this dog. Isn't that a beautiful dog? Your child can take as long as they need to master any subject. So if you say, hey, little Johnny, what's 2 + 2? And Johnny's like, 3. Say, don't worry about it, Johnny. We're going to take a little bit longer. And then once you get 2 + 2, whether that takes 2 weeks or 7 months, then we can move on to the next level of math. And with that, your child never becomes discouraged, right? They're always doing the appropriate level of math. And then what you have to do is you throw out, right? We have this fictitious notion in our mind. Yeah, well, right. People, you're right. 2 + 2 is 5 on CNN. But that's more in the George Orwell range. But yeah, we have to throw out this notion that people hold in their mind that my child is 7 years old and they are supposed to do this. My child is 10 years old and they are supposed to do this. I mean, in my opinion, a properly educated child, if you start homeschooling from when they're babies, should be able to graduate, I'd say at latest 16 years old, right? Because they're not doing all the waiting. But even if they, if things take longer, that's fine. Because when you're educating that person, you realize you have a decade and a half to 2 decades, right? We'll call it a decade and a half to 2 decades to educate that child. So I don't need them to know 2 + 2 by age 5 or by age 6 or by age 7. I just need to do things efficiently as a homeschool educator so that my child, when they're ready to leave the nest, is fully capable of doing everything I want them to do. What do you feel like 2 + 2 should be? Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to post, I do my memes of the day. I'm going to post a meme today about not spoiling your children, how spoiled children turn into weak adults. And I thought it was funny because, like, synchronicities. I was listening to Owen Benjamin talk about this, I believe a day ago, where he was talking about his boys helping out on his farm. And I know so many of you have your children help out on the farm and do chores, and that's phenomenal, and I fully advocate for that. And if you raise your children and you show them the value of hard work, that serves them in life, right? You never want to do anything as a parent that doesn't serve your children. Just like if your child is acting like a little brat, you can't tolerate that, because if you do, when they go and they hang out with their friends, right, their friends aren't going to want to hang out with them, and so it doesn't serve them to allow them to be spoiled brats. And everything you do as a parent, you say, does this serve my child? And just by chance, I listened to a wide range of podcasts and different people on YouTube. One of the people I listen to is Graham Stephan. He's a financial guy. Very good financial educator. So he was doing a series in which he was showing this grown woman who her parents had given her money her whole life, and her adulthood, she never had a job, and she's, vacations 10 times a year. And you could see how weak she was, that if anything goes wrong, her only response is that she could run to daddy. And to think that her parents were probably capable people that put themselves in a situation where they're well off financially, and they did such a poor job at passing that on to their children, it really makes you think. And, it really gets into the saying, right, that tough times make tough people. Tough people make good times make weak people, and weak people make tough times. And what we want to do as parents is, no matter what your situation is, no matter how well off you are financially or anything else, you always want to raise your children as if they're in tough times. You want them to feel safe, you want them to feel secure, but you don't want them to be spoiled, because that doesn't serve them. That doesn't serve them. I see that a lot with my wife. Grew up in a pretty affluent area, and she was telling me that almost all the people she grew up with, that she went to school with in this affluent area, they really had 3 outcomes, she said. She said they were completely addicted to drugs, and many of them are dead. which is a lot of them. I can't tell you how many of my wife's friends that she grew up with that she's like, oh, I went to high school with this person and they just died of drug overdose. Affluent area, right? They work for the town, which I think is great. It's great. You know, you get in with sanitation. It's a good career. Stuff like that. Or they're all very successful business owners. So like she shows me these people she went to high school with, and it's like it's such a contrast between you get the people she went to high school with that are drug addicts and die of drug overdoses, and then the other end, she shows me, you know, their businesses because they post them on social media and whatnot, and like these ultra successful business people. But all of these now grown children, their parents were very affluent. And, you know, the primary difference in their upbringing is probably that some of the parents spoiled their children and didn't hold them responsible, right? And those children grow up to become drug addicts and have all these problems. And then other people's children, other people, you know, they raise their children as if they're in tough times, even though they have money. And those children grow up responsible and, you know, because, you know, if you come from affluence and you raise your children the right way, there's no reason they shouldn't know how to run your family business or a business of their own by the time they're 18. In fact, if you raise your children the right way and you're the poorest person on earth, if you just schedule a consultation with me, there's no reason that your children shouldn't grow up to be very capable. I was watching Pockets of the Future. I was just watching Pockets of the Future, and he was doing this whole, expose on Hunter Biden. Not that I like politics, but I just had a thought about the contrast between how people raise their children, right? And Hunter Biden grew up a senator's son. You know, now he's a grown man. His father's the president of the United States and whatnot. And he's a crack addict. He had a baby after a one-night stand with a stripper. He is a corrupt person. He sells his father's position in government for cash, and he compromises his whole family and puts his family in a bad position. And just, Pockets is crushing lately. But Hunter Biden is a mess of a human being. And like, you know, people talk about like, oh, white privilege, black privilege. You know, real privilege is you grow up a senator's son. That's privilege. But Joe Biden apparently raised him. You can see by the way they protect him to this day. He was very spoiled, right? Joe Biden didn't hold Hunter Biden accountable for his actions, and that, I'm sure that holds true to from when he was a baby, and because of that, now he's a big baby as an adult. He does crack. He's just a mess of a human being. And you contrast that, right? That's why, like, your circumstances don't matter. It's just how you raise your children. You contrast that to, and again, there are political people who can't. I don't like any politicians. I think they're all the most. I think they're the worst people. But you contrast that to Donald Trump's children, right? They're very well put together. They're successful business people. From what I understand, they don't do drugs. They don't do. Most of them probably don't even drink. And yes, they both grew up very affluent, very, actually not skin color privilege. Like, that's a real world privilege. Like, your father's Donald Trump. Yes, you have some privilege. If your father is Joe Biden, yes, you were born into some privilege. Right? That's real world stuff. But what matters is how they were raised. And what it appears to me is that while Joe Biden let Hunter do whatever he wanted, Donald Trump held his children accountable, taught them the value of hard work, and because of that, you see the fork in the road, the difference between their children, which I don't know. I thought it's pretty fascinating. So, all right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta help my wife because she takes on a lot. And my boy's probably waking up soon. I like to, when I can, because I wake up early. I get breakfast ready for my boy so that when my wife wakes up, she's not stressed out with that. She can take care of the baby. The morning starts smoothly. Same thing, like you wake up at 3 a.m. and you crush. Well, my boy wakes up, my girl wakes up, my wife wakes up. If I have everything set so that their day is smooth, then it sets the tone for the whole day. We're gonna crush. All right, guys, it's been fun. Tell your friends about me. I don't know. All right, I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Keep crushing, brother. Bye-bye.